Hey, what's going on guys? Arekkz here, and today we're going to take a momentary break from the gaming content so I can talk about anime. What the hell? Yes, that's right, I'm talking about anime because I don't get a chance to speak about it that often unless I'm either A, covering an anime style game, like a fighting game, typically something that comes from Bandai Namco because they're basically our anime suppliers, or unless I just kind of sneak a little reference into like a video that I'm doing, and typically some of you guys recognize that. Which is really cool, because I know that a lot of you guys watch anime. Don't try and hide from it. I know you guys, you're not even secret weebs out there. You love your anime, alright? And some of you guys get that, some of you guys appreciate the references, some of you guys are like, hey man, this guy doesn't watch anime. He probably just jumped on the bandwagon and started watching it last week. No, I've been watching anime for years, but I just don't get a chance to speak about it that often. So today we're going to talk about my top 5, well, I wasn't saying my top 5 anime, more like 5 of my top anime. Because yo, top 5s are hard, alright? Because you go through and you're like, well yeah, I know what number 1 is, I know what number 2 is. You get to number 4, you're like, I'm running out of space. Damn. So we're gonna say this is my 5 of my top anime. Top 5. Cool? Yeah. Right. We're gonna start with Akira, because yo, if you like anime, you've probably seen this, and if you haven't, you need to see this, right? Akira is like the foundation of anime for me, right? I feel like everybody that loves this needs to have seen this film. This film is so incredible, right? It's a film, to be clear. It's not a like multi-episode series. There is a manga, but largely speaking, this is a film that has had huge influences, not just within other anime, but also other things outside the genre, movie, like games, things like that. Akira is... it's kind of what started anime for me, right? Because, I mean, technically speaking, if I'm being truthful, what started anime for me was like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Digimon, Beyblade, Cardcaptor Sakura, the kind of stuff that used to show up after school, but when you're a kid, back at school, they're just cartoons. I know, that's the crazy thing, you can't say that, you can't say anime are cartoons, right? But when you're a kid, you're like, hey man, this Pokemon cartoon's great, right? But what really kind of kicked off anime for me was when I watched Akira. My brother introduced it to me, and that was my first introduction to what I knew at that time as anime, right? And that completely hooked me. And it's kind of interesting because Akira clearly runs deep for me, right? Because it influenced a lot of things that I just like to this day. I mean, my favourite colour's red, right? Because Canada's bike is red. A lot of the kind of clothing that I like buying now, if I buy like those Machine 56 jackets, they look kind of like the stuff that the guys in the bike gangs wear in Akira. And just in general, everything about it is really, really cool. It's very hard to explain Akira because, I mean, top level, there's like a nuke that goes off in Tokyo. It's set in like, you know, futuristic times, or like not even too far future, right? It's set like slightly further in the future, but the story starts to get really, really, really weird the further you go. And it's one of those things where even if I explain the story to you, it might not necessarily sound that appealing, but it's one of those things that if you watch it, you'll be like, yo, this... why have I not seen this before, right? It has so many crazy moments, like the bike scene in there. The bike scene is the most influential thing you would have seen before. You've probably seen videos where people have compared the Akira sliding bike scene and then referenced every single like anime and cartoon and like movie that's then used that same scene later on. That's probably one of the most iconic moments. For me, one of the favourite things is like when they have one of the very early bike races going down the bridge, and of course there's the rival bike gang, and Tetsuo just whips out the pipe and just like knocks someone's head off. It's kind of grim, but at the same time, for like a much older anime, the animation quality is 10 out of 10, still holds up to this day. The music in it is just so good. It's got so many different iconic tracks that when you hear those tracks drop, you're just like, whew, it takes you straight back. So yeah, Akira is without question one of my all-time favourite anime, started the whole thing for me, and if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend you check it out. Following on from there, coming very soon after Akira for me was actually Ghost in the Shell. Now Ghost in the Shell is a really cool one because for those of you guys that like The Matrix, Matrix was actually inspired partially by Ghost in the Shell, which is really cool. Now there's various different permutations, there's different movies. I'm not talking about the live action movie, which by the way, a lot of people hate. I didn't mind it too much. It's not amazing, but I didn't mind it that much. But anyway, we're not here to talk about the movie. There's an original Ghost in the Shell movie, which is what I saw first, which is great. There was a second one that followed a little bit after, which was a little bit strange, and there's also an anime series called Standalone Complex, which is also pretty cool. Now, I haven't seen all of the Standalone Complex series. I think I saw the first 2, and then I think I dropped off a little bit. Animation quality for that was really cool. You've of course got these characters, this elite police agency. If you watch the original film, then they're following this character called the Puppet Master, and it's got this whole, you know, it's got all the sort of cyberpunky vibes. So if you guys are, you know, if you're looking forward to cyberpunk, then you're already going to kind of have those parallels. Again, probably like influences being drawn from there. In fact, there's definitely influences being drawn from there. And if you guys recently played Astral Chain, you'll know there's also, you know, they were quite heavily influenced by Ghost in the Shell as well. So another one of these movies that has like a lot of those like multi-dimensional influences, not just within anime, within gaming, within films. Really, really cool. And again, just something that, like, you know, you can watch the series, but if you just watch the original Ghost in the Shell film, this is great, because if you guys haven't seen these and you want to catch up, like, Akira is like a couple of hours, Ghost in the Shell is a couple of hours, and you can watch those and you can have a great time. But moving on from there, then I want to talk about like the pillar shonen series, right? I feel like everybody that loves anime has got like their favorite shonen series, like Dragon Ball or One Piece or Naruto or Bleach or something like that. And for me, that is Naruto, right? Now, I always have this kind of fun debate because I haven't really got the same attachment to Dragon Ball that a lot of people did, and that's because when I was growing up I didn't really have like cable or anything like that, so I couldn't really watch it. And for me, Naruto came about because my friend at school introduced it to me, and I was hooked ever since, right? I've always been someone that likes assassins and ninjas. Like in video games, I play as like the stealthy characters normally. Slightly more recently, I'm kind of being more of a tank, but generally speaking, I kind of gravitate towards like the ninja, the assassin, the rogue, anyone that can go invisible, anyone that can kind of just do stealthy stuff. And while Naruto might not necessarily be the epitome of stealth, it is an anime about ninjas, and what's not to like, right? It has some of the crazy, amazing fights. I mean, I still, to this day, seeing the Rock Lee versus Gaara fight, when Gaara just stands up and drops his weights off his legs, and then everything just like the ground shakes, and you're like, oh, this is about to be real, right? There's so many crazy, epic fights throughout that whole thing. I watched the Childhood Saga as the anime, and then because I got impatient, I then read the Shippuden Saga as manga. So I actually do still need to go back and watch the Shippuden fights animated, because there's some really good ones that I obviously want to see. So that's on my list to catch up, but it's quite a lot of episodes, so I'll do that at some point. But Naruto is like my staple, like childhood shonen series that I will always resonate with. It has so many great moments that I love. It has so many epic moments, and the fact that it kind of has like, you know, in that kind of typical shonen thing, it's got that sort of balance between like nice, fun, like happy comedy stuff, and then suddenly things get really serious, and you're like, oh, this is about to, you know, we're the next few episodes, we're here for a roller coaster because things are about to get real. That's basically what I love about Naruto, right? I mean, I know that like there's a lot of that kind of stuff in Dragon Ball and One Piece, but Naruto is just like that number one for me. Now, of course, moving on from there, like, I realise I'm trying to keep this short because it's supposed to be like a top 5, and if I go and recite like all the cool things from all the episodes and all the things that stand out to me, we're going to be here for a very long time. So let's move on to number 4, which is Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann, right? The other thing that I like, apart from ninjas, are giant badass robots, or mechs, right? And, I mean, the obvious thing when you say mechs is Gundam. Gundam's great, right? I've watched lots of Gundam series, but I'm talking about Gurren Lagann, right? Trigger, a great animation studio, and the stuff they do for, like, you guys might have seen Gurren Lagann, you might have seen Kill la Kill, you might have seen the recent Promare movie, which I really want to see, by the way. I haven't been able to see it in the UK yet, so I'm super annoyed because they've been showing it in cinemas in the US and I still haven't seen it, and it looks amazing. But Gurren Lagann is probably one of my favourite animes of all time, because it's just like, did any of you guys ever play Worms? Completely different game. We're obviously not talking about anime for a second. Worms, the like PC game, like there's an old school one, I can't remember, I think it was like Worms 2. There was an intro sequence where before you played the game, one of the ones that would play would be like, there'd be a worm who would bring out like a bazooka, right? And then the other worm would bring out like a bigger bazooka. Then the other one would bring out like a tank. And then he'd bring out like and they basically have this competition where they keep bringing bigger and bigger weapons. That's kind of what Gurren Lagann is, right? Because you start off with this, you know, this small little mech, and then suddenly later on, he then like drills his head into like a massive ship and becomes a bigger robot, and then suddenly later on merges with like the moon to become a bigger robot, to the point where you're eventually getting to the very end and you are having a galactic, like literally a galaxy-sized mech fight where there are 2 giant robots. One of them's sort of like a weird being. One giant robot, one weird space being, right? Literally throwing galaxies around. It's ridiculous, but also so epic. And that is one of those series where Naruto's done this to me, Gurren Lagann's done this to me, where there's a couple of episodes where you get genuine shivers down your spine. I can't remember the episode number, but very near the end of Gurren Lagann, where basically the whole team are rallying together, fighting towards this like big, epic, final galactic fight. And then you get that sort of shonen spirit running through when Shimon is there and he's about to go into like the final battle. And then suddenly when this like giant megaton, the final form just comes out and it just fills the screen. And you're just like, whew, you're lost for words, right? Like this is, I recently went back and rewatched it. I will say, if you're going to watch this, it's slightly longer than say like, you know, because especially if you've been watching like some of the new anime series, a lot of them kind of fall within these like, I don't know, 15-ish, 20 episode series. Like Gurren Lagann's marginally longer than that, and having gone back and rewatched it recently, It's a little bit slow to start, but once you get past that, once you really start, like, once it starts getting going, it is, like, it's non-stop. It's non-stop, crazy action, over-the-top robots. So if you like your giant robots, Gurren Lagann is definitely one to watch. And it's on Crunchyroll, so you guys can watch that conveniently. And then finally, to wrap it all up, now, this is the point in the top 5 where I'm like, man, I'm on number 5. And there's like another 5 anime that I want to talk about. So we'll throw in some quick honorable mentions at the end, but I kind of can't wrap this up without talking about Demon Slayer. Also, very quick side thing, I'm using the English names, right? I know there's going to be a lot of people in the comments that are going to give me crap and be like, well, excuse me, it's actually called Kimetsu no Yaiba. I know the Japanese names, alright, but for the convenience of this video, I'm using the English names. I can refer to all the other ones, like Boku no Hero, Tate no Yusha, Kimetsu no Yaiba, like Enen no Shobutai. I get all those ones, right? But I'm going to use the English names. Cool? Yeah? Alright, cool. Anyway, Demon Slayer, I watched this one on a whim. TwoSix recommended it to me, and I'd seen it, like, the animation stuff before, and I'll admit, when I saw the trailer for it, like, I saw it, and I was like, it looks alright. Maybe I'll watch it at some point, right? Then I finally got down and watched it. Like, for me, when it comes to anime, like, I love my anime. I'm super slow to start a series, and then when I finally start it, like, 2 days later, I'll be like, yo, I'm done. So, I did the same thing with Demon Slayer. I started watching it, and it started picking up pace very, very quickly. And then we got to that really notable episode that, like, I don't want to say it yet because Demon Slayer is still quite new, that I don't want to spoil anything if you guys haven't seen it, but if you know, you know, right? There's that particular episode when he's fighting like one of the badass demons, and the feelings I got during that episode, right? By the way, like, UFO Table, animation studio behind this, their stuff is top quality. They are like one of the best in the business. You know you're going to get some good animation in this. And some of the animation quality in this, when they do like all their moves, when he's got like the water breathing stuff, and you see the water element coming around his blade and stuff, like that is stuff to behold, right? But when you got to this particular episode, I think it was episode 17, if I remember off the top of my head, when it got to the very end, right? And he's about to finish this fight, and everything starts falling into place. You have like the memories, you have the switch from the water to the fire, right? I'm trying to keep this vague without sort of giving anything like away too much, but when you have this, and then like it literally culminates in like the super epic moment where he wins that battle, I got those same shivers that I got towards the end of Gurren Lagann, those same shivers that I got during some of the Naruto fights, like the Rock Lee Goro one, or like the Naruto vs Sasuke one, like some of those ones, I got that same shiver. And when you get that moment, like, that's special, right? Because there's epic stuff in anime, right? There's always epic stuff, but then there's a difference between like the occasional epic stuff and like the okay, all right, like, I'm just like, I'm silent because like, whew, like that's what you get, right? Demon Slayer is every single episode, it's been really well paced. It hasn't really had, like, to me, hasn't really had any particularly slow parts. It's not necessarily non-stop action. Sometimes there's stuff that isn't necessarily like super over-the-top action, but there's always something interesting going on. There's a lot of very interesting characters, some cool character development. Zenitsu is probably my favourite character, a character that very early on I was like, this guy is annoying as hell. And then suddenly when I realised like what he's actually all about, I'm like, okay, this guy's my favourite character now. So yeah, he's really cool. Very awesome series, very new right now. It has just finished the first series. So if you guys haven't necessarily seen Demon Slayer, then you've got, I think, what is it, 20 episodes, 21 episodes or something like that. A few episodes to catch up on, but it's finished right now. I'm hoping there'll be like another series, because from the people that have read the manga, I haven't read the manga by the way, so no spoilers, but I've heard from the people that have read it, the next arc, the train arc, is apparently going to be really epic, so I'm ready for that. But yeah, that's kind of my top 5. Now it's difficult because, as I was saying, there's a lot more that I want to talk about. I haven't even mentioned my hero in this one because that's also a series that I love. Like, what's not to like about a series where you go to school to learn how to use superpowers? I mean, that's like Marvel meets anime. Like, I mean, not that Marvel was about going to school to learn superpowers, but talking about superheroes, right? Like, that's epic. I love that. That comes back in October. New series. Cannot wait for that one. I'm currently watching Dr. Stone. I'm also watching Fire Force. Fire Force started a little bit slow. And because I was watching Demon Slayer at the same time, any of the fights in Fire Force were just not as cool as the Demon Slayer ones, but it has started to pick up more recently, so I'm enjoying that one slightly more. Dr. Stone, though, is great. Dr. Stone started slow, and I was like, I'm not really going to like that, and then it got a lot better. That's great. Shield Hero, fantastic series. Vinland Saga, I'm watching at the moment, same animation studio that did Attack on Titan, and it's an anime about Vikings. I mean, hello, like... I like that stuff, right? So Vinland Saga is on Amazon Prime if you guys want to check that out. That's really cool. There's also Overlord. I mean, that I love because that gives me those sort of MMO feels, those sort of like isekai anime wherever they're like, you know, set in that sort of MMO world. Really like those ones. Same thing for that time I got reincarnated as a slime. You can see there's a lot of anime that I want to talk about, but we're out of time. That's the top 5. That's my 5, or my 5 of my top anime. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys like. Let me know if there's things that I need to watch. There's lots of series that I, you know, have watched that I haven't mentioned here, but maybe if you guys have got recommendations, let me know. Point is, I like anime. I really hope you guys enjoyed that video. Remember to hit that subscribe button and also click on the little bell icon to turn on notifications so you don't miss my next upload. Also, don't forget you can check out 269 and Paradise Central streaming over on Twitch 6 days a week. You can find a link to the multi-stream in the description box down below. Be sure to drop by and get involved. Thanks again for watching. Take it easy. Catch you next time. Peace out.